Hey everybody, this is Rydo in the 4th week of the solo adventure of Rise of the Shadows has unlocked. So we're not doing anything as far as daily quests, but that doesn't mean I can't come in here and re-roll something for 60, as one should be doing every day, frankly. So I played in the process here for an entire day after last week, trying to get the second chapter done. We're in week 3, chapter 1 and chapter 2 unlocked in week 1, chapter 3 unlocked in week 2. So now it's week 3 and we're going to unlock chapter 4, which is confusing to say nothing. So I unlocked a lot of the RPG elements for the characters, and it still really didn't help. And I don't really believe you're going to get anything of any real value unlocked if doing all the chapters. Once you own all the chapters, you can do this anomaly mode to make it interesting to play the game several times. And I imagine eventually we'll get daily quests that will ask us to come and do these single player expansions. Let's see. Now it would be $10. It started at 20. Now that I have half of the expansions unlocked, it would be $10 real money, or just the standard 700 gold, or $7, and it is the worst deal to buy it this way, by far, because $7 buys you chapter 4, whereas $10 would have bought you chapter 4 and 5. Of course, you'd still have to wait till next week to do chapter 5.
Okay, here's the deal. You gotta keep these sewers clear while I wire up the rockets.
So we're going to be doing the underbelly, and we need to defeat 5 bosses to get 3 packs, and that's kind of all you have to do. You don't even have to beat the thing. And so, as far as the RPG elements, I've pretty much unlocked all the 3 hero abilities for this character and the 3 decks that you can play, and then there's a 4th random deck you could play. So they tried to make this solo adventure something where you could play it over and over and over again, and always get something different. And it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't really make sense, because the vast majority of daily quests and the vast majority of what you're going to do in Hearthstone is play ranked, and there's nothing this solo adventure does that makes it better or easier to play ranked. Perhaps the idea is that this solo adventure is in some small way supposed to replace a lot of the earlier solo adventures, which you can't really get not easily for new players. I would argue that they've got content that is off the table right now as far as things like Nexramus that they should just give for free, as it's been at least a couple of years since Nexramus has come out. So why not give that to new players for free? Give it to anybody that doesn't have it for free, just as a celebration. So for week 3 we now have Warrior and Druid, and I assume we'll try either one of these at least once. But we'll start with Mr. Chu. The Black Market Bodyguard is the new muscle for EVIL, which is the organization we're working for. And since this is a new character, his new hero ability RPG elements are locked, so I can only gain 2 armor right now. We need to damage 100 minions, and then we will unlock this hero ability, which deals 1 damage to a minion and gives it +1 attack, Invigorating Brew. And then we need to gain 50 armor to get Undermine, which is shuffle an explosive into your opponent's deck, which that could be very interesting. So you use the hero ability a lot to gain a lot of armor, and dealing damage will help, certainly. Right now, all we know, all minions' attacks and health will be swapped throughout the entirety of doing this chapter, regardless of what hero you choose. When we defeat 5 bosses, this hero starting deck is unlocked. When we unlock 10, this is unlocked, and when we unlock 15, this is the random deck, where cards will just be randomized. And doing the random deck really is a professionals only idea, and it really would be for people who are just loving the idea of playing the solo adventure for some reason. Basically it's for Crip and Disguised Toast, Criperian and Disguised Toast, and other big time Hearthstone streamers who are playing Hearthstone for 8 hours a day on Twitch or YouTube, mostly Twitch I'd say, but normal people I don't think would ever really take up a random offer. So the starting deck here, we have a deal 1 minion. If it survives, deal 1 damage to a minion. If it survives, give a lackey. We have equip a hook, a enraged minion. It used to be called enraged. They've changed the key phrase just to be has +3 while damaged. Give a damage minion +1, deal 3 damage, gain 3 armor. Be controlled by a pirate. So it seems like it's a little bit everywhere. This is going to be our main focus, is the axe flinger, because if we can do a lot of damage to this guy and heal or buff this guy so he has more health to do more 1 bits of damage, we can do 2 damage to the enemy hero every time he's damaged. Here's another enraged character that has +3 while damaged. And then Brawl is our, I guess, big spell. And everything here is relatively cheap early game, mid game. That makes some sense to start off with. We'll get new cards and new abilities as we move forward. We'll be fighting new sets of enemies. So I guess for the 5 chapters, it is worth mentioning that there are probably at least 15 enemies that you're fighting in each of the 5 chapters. So there's like 65 enemy heroes that they animated and created to make sure it's varied. Although, quite frankly, if they had just approached these kind of solo adventures better, they would have just added the enemies from the previous solo adventures that work like this.
You are in my way.
And they definitely did not choose to do that. This is gonna be a weird thing to get used to because of the health and attack being swapped by default.
So, I might have accidentally sliced into a toxic sewer gas line. You'll be fine as long as you don't move or breathe.
So, let's see. This is a deal 1 damage to a minion lifesteal. So, he can kind of damage any number of minions he wants to hurt.
Oh, good. The muscle's here. You be the brawn. I'll do the dinky stuff.
I'm gonna take armor because if I played this could do 1 damage and kill it, and then that could do 1 damage and kill it. Yep. For this stream, I'm just gonna play 1 game unless I lose really fast, and then we're gonna give it up. I'm in the middle of working on another major project, cleaning up my Steam follow list before the Steam Summer Sale happens. So time is incredibly short for me right now. I also took a break from playing the Doom reboot, which was going to start airing in October, so I'll have to get back to that pretty quickly. And Friday will be a standard Hearthstone stream where we talk about video game news and play Hearthstone to get the daily quest done. And that'll probably be relatively long also. Wow, I'm kind of in this weird position because a taunt here doesn't do anything. I need something to stay on the field, and there's actually very little that will stay on the field unless he's just gonna try to go straight for my face. Which he might be doing that. So I needed something like this, and then I can now do this, and then do this. And I hope there's 4, 5, 8, 9. So he healed himself 1, otherwise this would have won it completely. So
few cards remain.
I barely even have enough cards. Weapon, do this, and that. And that's strange. This has been a very strange first boss battle. Usually boss battles in the first run are super easy, and that was complicated and difficult. Alright, so what can we do to 10 Scrolls of Wonder into your deck? Battlecries trigger twice. Battlecries trigger twice as a buff won't help. Enemy minions cost 1 more will help throughout the entirety of the game. So I'm gonna go with this because I don't think spells are really something we'll be playing, because we're effectively playing a warrior game. Now it comes down to, do we want to play pirates or do we want, well, this rush character is not so good, this isn't terrible, but I think we're going with pirates. I think we're going to heavily focus on a pirate deck. This one gives a friendly minion Wind Fury as his hero ability, and now he has 15 health instead of 10, which is how this goes, and eventually we'll be fighting something that has 40 health when we only have 30, unless we get a buff that increases it.
You are in my way. You do not belong here.
Get rid of that, and that. And I'll hold on to this just in case. I would say this deck is particularly bad. It really does feel like I've picked the hardest hero to play possibly. And I don't personally know what the easy one is to play, because if I did, I would have finished Chapter 2 by now. I'm probably going to have to look at a walkthrough, something that would suggest or explain what... I'm just going to hold on to these 2 attacks. Explain which hero to play and which deck to play, and by the time this solo adventure is done, there is a level of elements that still won't be unlocked. So I guess this solo adventure is gonna last for quite a while. One thing I would say is that it feels very much that this should have happened the month before the card packs were able to be opened. Like, if they had just flipped things and for every week for 4 weeks unlocked single player expansions where you play the new cards in the single player adventure, but you can't play the new cards in ranked, people would probably be a lot more happy with that disbursement. I feel like there's probably going to be a good 20% of players that just don't care about the solo adventure at all, never buy it, never play it. They've had their fun with seeing the cards. The cards in this expansion weren't particularly that good anyways. Here we have a passive power. At the end of your turn, it says early. Well, I cannot read this. I'm looking at a TV that's 10 feet away. Nearly misses all minions without around the board. What is it? I have no idea what this passive ability does. Maybe it really messes with the minions on the board.
A carousel?
This is probably a joke boss.
My way.
And we got it. It's probably a really rare boss. Actually, I think this is probably the perfect starting hand for this deck. Play this, get an attack weapon, play this second turn, maybe play this third turn. Man, game is playing really slow. Alright, it's a little bit bigger. I still cannot read what that is. The text is so small. They made the text slightly smaller than it usually is.
Must apply pressure.
It's games like this where the text is small that I sometimes question if I shouldn't just lower the resolution down, and that's... So I guess things just are gonna move around.
It's time for it.
Job's done.
Oh, I guess that would be a carousel, wouldn't it? These things just are gonna rotate around like crazy. Okay, well. So it's only rotating one thing. Okay, well.
X marks the spot.
Who you want me killed?
Job's done.
So this looks like this will win, although at a danger. Certainly. Damage, gain armor in the turn. Next turn I'll just play this and win. I really wanted this card because this is a rather good card. So the secret for the solo adventures usually are the first 6 or so heroes are pushovers. Really easy.
Genius!
Okay. So do we want to, for 5 mana, summon King Mukla and make it immune, so you can't do any spells on it, not really knowing what King Mukla is, but he's probably just a minion that would be impossible to kill, so he'd stay on the field almost certainly? Or do we want to be able to very often do 3 damage to all enemy minions? Or do we want to summon all the minions that have been killed by this weapon throughout this entire run? Which means if I played this every time and killed at least 1 minion, I'd have a pretty good lineup. Actually, this is just cheaper and better, I think. Particularly for this deck. Let's see, what more cards do we want to add? Probably not dragons. Some battle cry cards that would trigger twice. Or, well, this is mechs, I guess. I guess I'm taking this one. That was 3 kind of bad options.
Yeah, there's some crazy dives down here in the underbelly.
Now we're going to our first tavern run, which is a new concept they added in the solo expansions, where we can modify our deck. I think that certainly removes some of the randomness of previous solo adventures, where you would do solo adventures a lot and fail because of 1 or 2 small things. So do I want to add an enemy to the deck? Draw new cards, not really necessary. That Murloc is not really necessary.
Must apply pressure.
Buffing cards in your hand maybe would be helpful, but not really. I think if anything I'd take the Axe Flinger again. My other options are to remove all the friendly minions from my adventure deck, just get rid of all of these if these were bad. I could get rid of this guy pretty easily. Maybe get rid of that guy. Discover legendary minion, add it to the deck. Increase your starting health by 5. I don't think increasing my starting health by 5 is ever one I would use. So I'm gonna add this to the adventure deck.
You made a friend.
And then let's see if we gave. Do we want a legendary minion, or do we want to give this a buff? I'm gonna have to play this, and it will be a 3/2 quite often. I'm gonna go with legendary.
Can't go wrong with that one. They're irregular.
Copy all the dragons in your hand. That's a bad card. Gain the death rattle effects of 3 friendly minions that died in your hand. That's a bad one. This will work pretty well. It has charge and it's a 4/9, so it would be a 9/4. And I could play this for 0 gold pieces, but I don't want to.
You have fun with all that mayhem and chaos you're causing.
We'll get 1 more of these modification tavern
For the
brawls.
last time, Dazik, you're not an orc. You're not nearly that cultured.
This guy just gains 2 armor, so that's pretty simplistic as far as a hero power.
Mr. Chew versus Dazik. I am the Horde's war chief, and as such, I am the Horde.
I find your claims hard to believe.
So it seems like it's a goblin pretending to be a orc. Is the backstory in these little elements kind of a waste of time? They might make a lot more sense to people who have played World of Warcraft or remember playing Warcraft. I did play Warcraft 1 and 2, but that was so long ago that I couldn't remember any of the elements. And Warcraft 1 at least is just orcs and humans. It's missing any of the other characters that are in World of Warcraft.
I'll crush your puny armor. It's time for a little
I'm not doing a ton of killing or doing damage to minions, but that's kind of to be expected. So because this is a twin spell, you can do this 4 times. So you can do it on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th time and 7th time and just clear a field. So it builds in this opportunity to just move the game forward to a 7 mana play.
I'll show you the power of a true war chief.
So this is a good first draw card. Which one's the cheapest? Because I can play 6. This is 6 damage for 4. This is 5 damage for 6.
If only.
I don't have any 2 mana thing. So 6 damage for 4 and take armor.
A blade be thirsty.
And since I didn't need to play the card last turn, I can play it this turn. It's kind of a slow process, but... Alright, and then I can just play this. Next turn, we play this, do 9 damage. You have 11 damage here, plus 9 damage there, that's 20 out of 25. Or I played this one last time to keep the field clearing. And let's see. Do this.
Fly, Polly.
Do this. This next turn would buff the weapon up even more.
Stop moving. Start.
Don't want to buff it up anymore, or should I just do damage? I think I should probably do damage, since I have 4 uses. So now he's down to 6. Do this to gain armor, do this to gain armor, and I can't do anything more. So we win. We're seeing the beginnings of a strategy here, but this is a very calculated deck. It's not my usual just run and gun it. Let's see. Armor. Anytime this survives damage, it would summon a ghoul, but that would not work because it would be a 4 attack and 1 health. So that would be a bad choice. Spells. And this dragon. I think we're going with the armor. What's this ability? Spells cost 0 the turn they are drawn. Interesting. I'm not sure how often I'll be able to use that passive ability though.
Mr. Chew versus Sirius.
So far, I guess we're at past the halfway point with the solo adventures. It's alright. I just, like I said, felt like it would have been better if this was released the month before the card packs could be opened. If we had 4 to 5 chapters, 15 card packs guaranteed to you to open on day 1, that would have made a lot of people very much more excited for the day that they could buy the card packs. I think, assuming that we're gonna get daily quests to do these adventures, which is how it has been in the past, assuming that is the case, we will probably do this a lot, at least once a month. Anyways, or at least I will, since I have effectively 3 different accounts, playing both the Americas, European, and Asian account. Or not both, but all 3 of those accounts. And playing one game and just having to defeat like 3 or maybe 5 bosses in this solo adventure once a month is not asking too much. I wouldn't be surprised if they start removing the other daily quests that already exist that that are built around the concept of doing the rumble runs or the other solo adventures that previously have come out. Seems like this guy is going to be playing almost 100% spells. Alright, this one can have charge. I could spend all my armor and kill that guy. Guess. But notice that this hero started with more health than I did. So I've done a lot of damage and it still has 1 more health than me. 3 damage to all damaged minions. Well, that won't work.
I have an axe to grind.
I probably should have hit that guy, come to think of it. Well, I wish I could undo that. I should have hit this, damaged it, and then well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered one way or the other.
Essence.
Let's see. 10 damage to a minion if I wait. That.
Let us clear out the weak.
So, I think that was a good strategy. Something with taunt.
Drink up the
Job done.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. Wait, 1 more turn before playing this. And I guess I want to play this.
None shall pass.
Let's see. See what the secret is vaporize.
Mind if I roll need?
So I was kind of hoping he would play something really big this turn so I could do 10 damage to it. But he's not really.
Chaos does have a purpose.
Seems like he's just trying to play draw card minions. So I have no idea what he's trying to draw as far as cards. And at this point you can see that all of these all of the cards being 1 mana more expensive is not really doing anything.
Who you want me, kid?
So now it's a race to the finish. Can I do 12 more damage before he kills everybody on the field? Particularly when this guy's going to deal 8 damage to all minions when he dies. So, do I want to do 3 damage now and hope he kills this guy? Or do I want to assume that he wouldn't do that, so I should do that now? So maybe he's out of cards now? Or close to being out of cards? Like, I really don't know what his strategy is. It seems to just be playing minions. I'm gonna hold this one back because this one's gonna do 2 damage to everything, and that would just kill this anyways before I can play it. I'm getting his health down close enough that if he starts fatiguing in 4 turns, he might be to that point. But there is at least one card that will put your hand back into the connection. I guess it doesn't matter what his strategy was now that I've gotten this in-game card. He was below 9, so we can win. And I know we're not quite yet to the point where we're playing with full 30 cards. I only have 27, but that was pretty long. You can use your hero power twice each turn. It costs 1 less. That might be helpful. Start the game, draw. At the start of your game, draw 2 cards. That's not that helpful. You draw an additional 2 cards each turn. You're immune to fatigue. Last time I tried this card, it didn't work very well, but I think it probably is better than just being able to use my hero ability, particularly since we're late game at this point. I don't think I would want these dragons. Shuffle bomb, summon some bombs, shuffle a copy of your hand into your deck. It's probably not a terrible idea. So do we want more of the same, or do we want to try something different? I think we'll try something different. And this should be our second tavern encounter.
Down here. Some of my best friends.
Now we're above the standard 30 cards. We might win this, but we might not. It's usually the last 2 that have something weird about them, or they just have more health.
Ah, friendly face. Usual?
Which makes this a great example of a grindy element. Because you have to grind the first 6 bosses over and over again. I really wish you could just retry the last boss that you died on. Look for 4 spells from your adventure, choose one to remove. Fill the tavern with new minions. Increase the health, choose a friendly minion, remove it from the adventure deck, choose an enemy minion, add it to your adventure deck. So, I could get this, and then it would add plus a 2/2 no.
I can always enjoy a quiet night.
And then I don't know if there's really anything I need to remove. So I'm gonna take this guy, and then the only thing I guess I could do is let's fill the tavern with new minions, because that causes 0 gold pieces. And here's that null. So I could look at 4 spells in your adventure deck. I don't even think I have 4 spells. Or I can remove a friendly minion. Or I could just end. I guess what this comes down to is I'll take
That's
the
a
5
lot of
health
food. You must be hungry.
and then just end the turn.
I'll put it on your tab.
And I guess that's where the 5 health comes into play, is that if you just don't have anything better to do. This does 2 damage to all minions, takes 2 turns to reload. And this guy will be starting with 50 mana, whereas I'll be at 45.
Mr. Chew versus
The animations in this expansion look different than
You
animations
are
previously.
in
It feels
my
like they
way.
lost their artist,
have I happened upon?
which wouldn't make sense because Activision Blizzard is kind of falling apart, it seems like. And it wouldn't be a crazy prediction to say by this time next year Hearthstone might be a close to being dead, if not completely dead game. I was trying out, there's a relatively new Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Google Play Store, although there is also the old Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Google Play Store. And I was looking at it and it's like, yeah, it seems like it kind of works, although it seems like it does. I have a Galaxy S9 or 10, which is a particularly tall screen, so, and I've actually modified the resolution of my screen to make it even taller, so that it doesn't have the curved element, which I found very annoying on the curved screens. And playing it that way, you don't even have enough room for the 5 card spaces for the new Yu-Gi-Oh game. Otherwise, I played the game and it seemed fine. It also seemed like it was full of microtransactions and in-app purchases, way more than Hearthstone is. Hearthstone probably is hurting itself quite a bit by not having more microtransaction elements in it that are more prominent. It actually does a rather nice job of not shoving in your face that you constantly need to or should be buying packs or should be buying gold or dust. In Hearthstone in particular, there's no way to even do that. You can't actually buy gold or dust.
All charged up. Somebody order a bomb.
So I've already started to burn all my cards because I need mana. Drawing more cards was a bad move.
Almost ready for another round.
My hand is full.
Alright. Where's the candle?
X marks the spot.
Feed you to master. My hand is full.
Let's see. Need to play
It's time for a little blood.
cheap minions. Get the minions on the field
Save the best for last. Silent
and start doing damage. So his hero ability is built around trying to damage it. I'm not gonna say that the new Yu-Gi-Oh game could beat Hearthstone though. That would be
Ready to flee.
frankly unbelievable. But maybe the new Magic the Gathering Arena game will get our attention. And I could see Yu-Gi-Oh! If there is a good one that gets really popular, would pull a lot of the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans who have nostalgia for it away from playing Hearthstone.
Back into it.
World of Warcraft, I guess maybe to its detriment, did not choose to ever have a cartoon or cross-media promotion. And had it done that, it probably would have benefited pretty well from that idea.
Double time and double pay. Hostile detected.
That worked pretty well. I did not realize that was going to work as well as it did. But this guy has nothing but death rattle triggers. And
I am out of cards.
so I've played all my cards while this guy still has 16 cards left. So everything has to work. Let's see. Taunt.
I have an axe.
This. Shuffle a copy into my hand. I should have done that first. So now I've got some new cards. And I can just keep on doing this over and over again. So I could probably play this next turn and be fine. This and this would probably work pretty well. Yeah, I could have one of these in my hand and then always shuffle a new... Shuffle it back into my... deck. And then every turn is 9 damage, potentially. Of course, he's putting bombs and I'm taking damage from the bombs.
Can't we reload any quicker?
This. And this. And I guess play that a second time or not. He has only one card, so I've exhausted his hand.
I am out of cards.
There's a lot of bomb damage. Oh, I guess when you shuffle your card, the thing back into your hand, you don't get that card again. Oh, well. We're fine. Let's just hit this to do some damage to a minion, and then do this. That was close, and I'm pretty scared, quite frankly, for the next battle, because I'm gonna have to be very careful about when I play the card to shuffle your entire hand back into the deck. Destroy all damaged minions, Doomsayer, weapons, gain 10 armor, reduce the cost of a minion in your opponent's by 2, gain 1 armor, upgrades each turn. I'm gonna just take this.
Khadgar sent adventurers to stop us.
This is
They'll
challenge
do anything
7 of
for money,
8.
and we're the bad guys.
So apparently we have 2 more battles to do. And yeah, it takes a good hour to try to play one of these runs. Which is asking a lot, but I guess it feels sometimes like it takes 30 minutes to play just a standard rank game.
You're about to see how explosive the elements can be.
Let's see. So what is this ability? So you spend your spells with overload cast twice. That's what.
Fly, Polly.
Okay. It's in the turn here.
Finally, a second chance.
So I want the best cards I can possibly have
X marks the spot.
in my hand rather quickly so I can play this and put as many cards back into my deck. I can just start attacking it now.
Let's do that again, Element!
Double time and double bang.
So if his overload cards cast twice, I guess that means they probably only overload once. Guess that'd be my guess. Gonna give it one more turn and hope that's not a mistake. Meanwhile, his hero power deals an extra damage, which does nothing actually, because his hero power doesn't deal damage.
My hand is full.
Right. So shuffle that back into my hand. Do that. Kill this guy? Not really. We'll just leave him. I can start playing Twin Spell.
Got a big storm brewing here!
My hand is full.
Right. So Twin Spell. And that's all I can do. Just farming
Never prime.
My hand is full.
all these good cards. Alright, can I do two things here? We can do this. And then I can do this. And it'll be a while. I'm gonna run out of cards way before he does. So if I play all the cards or burn all the cards,
My hand is full.
can I play two things now? I can do that. I haven't been able to do a single bit of damage.
Guess I best be taking a break.
All charged up.
There's a couple mechs. If I do this, four, I guess. Get the Axe Flinger on the field. Now this should be the last of his overload
Hand is
characters,
full.
so that should be done. Let's see.
turrets, my pretty totems.
Ooh, I'm a bit topped out here, man.
My hand is full.
Okay. Spend all of your armor, deal that much damage to all minions. I don't like that. But maybe all I can do.
Somebody order a bomb. Hostile detected.
So now we're slowly wearing this one down.
My turret.
What just happened there? There's something stopping this guy from having totems as a...
My hand is full.
Is this what we want? What do we want to do? Give my weapon +1/+1.
Drink up the army.
I think that's a smart move. Gain 5 armor, draw a card. Might not really be necessary. What else do we have as options? Deal 10 damage to a minion. I don't have a minion to do damage to, so...
Weather's pretty nice for a big fight.
I guess we'll buff the weapon up. You can't take that out.
My hand is full.
Let's see. We're going to buff our weapon.
Drink up the army.
And then another minion's not a bad idea. So I've exhausted his hand, but he has 15 more cards, so we're in a weird position here where if he can just continuously burn through the last bits of my cards, then I'll lose. And he might be able to do that. Let's see. I really don't want to play Brawl right now, but that might be my only choice.
Save the best for last.
None shall pass.
Well, this guy's gonna kill probably this guy again. So I probably should have done Brawl. Let's just end the turn and see what he does. I have like one minion. So, unless I can just gain a ton of armor. No fatigue damage. Buff that guy. Do this.
Let's blow this place sky high. Yo-ho!
Alright, well, get rid of that.
Invincible. Job's done.
We've got 2 health, but if he could clear the field right now, I would lose. Or at least I'd have to somehow survive through 12 turns. But fortunately, he wasn't able to do that. But we have one more boss fight to go through. If we're gonna win.
One of these treasures is Hagatha's. You can tell by the smell.
So our final treasure is transform your minions into random legendary minions, upgradable, repeatable this turn. Summon King Mukla, given immune and can't be targeted by spell or hero powers, which means it would always be on the field. Or draw this taunt at the start of the game. Each turn this is in your hand, give it 1+1/+1. I think I want King Mukla in this case because then I'll have something on the field always. I don't think that this would be too helpful. I do think big minions would be helpful.
Madame Goya is a criminal mastermind. But fortunately, we're mastermindier.
So 70 health versus 55 health, and we'll be drawing extra cards. The Elixir of Vim, frankly, you shouldn't get, though. You just burn through too many of your cards.
Mr. Chu versus Madame Goya.
Mr. Chu, you know the price for betraying me.
It is sad for us to meet in such unfavorable circumstances.
Just gonna reroll all of those. So we have Dead Man's Hand, and we have the Legendary already. What is their hero ability? Replace a random card in your opponent's hand with extortion. Well, I don't know what that card is. So we'll have to see. Not ready to do that yet.
Job's done.
In fact, I probably should hold on to this until I'm out of cards completely. That way I can better control what cards I get and draw. Wish I had the candle.
My hand is full.
Alright. 3 damage, draw a card, or gain armor. $23 cards to 24 cards. That's gonna stop happening. This game may go long enough that it does hit a point where she gets the golden monkey. Let's see, do I want to destroy something or just play a minion?
Bide your time.
She's playing Jade Golems.
Hello to my little friend.
Hello. My hand is full.
Okay. Armor. And play that. That probably doesn't do anything in return. You know what? I probably should put this card as a copy.
Paw of the market at work.
Return your security rover to your hand. Okay.
My hand is full.
Alright, so I want to play this. want to do this.
Perhaps you are not the fool I took you to be.
And then let's go ahead and take that. And then next turn I want to play this. That way I have another King Mukla,
Ninja get results.
Super Simian Sphere.
My hand is full.
Alright. So, do this. And put this on the field.
Job's done.
So, this is just a 5/5 that cannot be killed now. Great.
The black market takes a modest cut.
My hand is full.
And see, I can just play another one of these. And let's see. What do I want to do? This first. This. So I can start doing 10 damage every turn. Great. I think I've got this. This will just.
My hand is full.
This is gonna come down to, can I do enough things that I want to do? If I did this. Still not good enough.
Come, try your luck.
My hand is full.
10 damage to a minion. Do I need to do that right now? No. 2 damage to a minion if it survives. Draw a card. Okay, 3 damage to everything else. Great. I think we're probably close to where we want to be.
I'm not ready.
There once was a man from Gildas.
My hand is full.
Darn it. I'm losing all the good cards.
It's time for a little blood.
And I might as well attack with the immune cards. So, this attempt to summon more and more powerful Jade Golems might start becoming a problem.
My hand is full.
Let's see. But Brawl might actually solve that problem too.
I can wait no longer.
Let's go ahead and take this. So, let's see. Kill that, but not kill this one. And then kill with that one, because that one doesn't really matter. And then attack with everything else. I have 5 more cards, and I'm not sure what they are, so I'm not ready to start using the weapon. Because there might be another one of these.
I want you, and you, and you.
Putting 3 more copies of that in the field.
A bit blunt for my tastes, but he does good work.
Full.
Power that up. And I guess we could candle. There we go.
Who you want me killed?
So how do I want to deal with this? I've done this poorly, clearly. So I'll do this one, get that off the field. Do that. Do that. I probably don't need to wait, so I'm going to start attacking with this. At 21 to effectively 29. 2 more cards. 2 of these.
I am out of cards. My hand is full.
Gain 5 armor, draw a card. Let's see. Spend all your armor, deal that much damage. Turn a card. Kill that. Yeah, I think we're good. And this may be victory. Yep. It is. Okay. So we won. Took about an hour and 12 minutes to do this on the first try. And that has been the case for everything except for Chapter 3.
Almost definitely won't explode and fall from the sky.
Next time we play as this hero, we could use Invigorating Brew, because we damaged minions 100 times. I guess that I misread that. I thought it said do 100 damage to minions, which is slightly different. So now you have a different, probably better hero ability. We also defeated 5 bosses, so we have a different, probably better starting deck. We gained 5 armor. I guess these are unlocking in the order in which I did it. We gained 50 armor, so now I could use Undermine to shuffle 2 explosives into your opponent's deck, which actually probably would work pretty well. And see, what I'm thinking is maybe after the final week, it will unlock a hero that is by far the most obvious solution and easiest person to play as. So we've got different art here. With a gold border and a character in it. And the violet hold is the one that doesn't have that golden border around it. It has kind of a dull brownish border. It's alright. So next week this will open and we'll probably get it done on the first try. And maybe if I ever find any free time, I'll come back and do this. So if we look here, we're not going to actually play. Everything's unlocked, so I could play this. And then everything, this is unlocked. But even if you do get a one-time victory, you still need to play it a second time to unlock the second thing. They've got the numbers calculated here specifically, so you would have to either win it perfectly twice in a row or win it and lose a few times so that you've defeated 15 bosses for the random. The starting deck here is seemingly more focused around Battlecry, Rushers, and Death Rattles. So it's kind of, if you want to build an inspired deck, there's one Inspire to start with. If you want to build a deck that's focused around Battlecries, there's one Battlecry. If you want to build around Death Rattle, there's a Death Rattle. There's another Battlecry, another Rush, another Death Rattle, another Battlecry and Rush. So it's kind of all over the place in its theme. And then this other hero that unlocked. Let's look at him and see. I suspect this is the mage, this is the shaman, this is the hunter, this is a priest, this is a rogue, this is a warrior, this is a druid. So that means paladin and what? I've been playing this game for years. I should know the hero classes. Mage, shaman, hunter, paladin is definitely one of them. It's not the warlock, is it? Yes it is, it's the warlock. So, yeah. Paladin hero and warlock hero. I would heavily suspect that the paladin hero will be the easiest hero to play as, and it will be significantly easier to beat all the bosses with the paladin than it would be to beat with the mage, which mage hero class is always the new hero class for new players. The simplistic hero class. So because we beat this chapter, we get a crown. So there is, I guess, for bragging rights reasons, a reason why you would want to beat every chapter with all 9 of the heroes. I don't think that that's likely to happen for very many people. That is a big time commitment on the single player expansion. Meanwhile, you would still have to do daily quests, mostly in rank, because most daily quests won't be completed in solo adventures. And you would also still be trying to play ranked ladder plays where you're trying to get up the ranked ladder and get more rewards that way, and you would still have to focus on tavern brawls, and if you're doing any of the arena stuff, you'd have to focus on that. And this game already takes way too much time. It's ridiculous to think very many people would go through this and do this. 9 times 5, 45 games you would have to win to get a hero victory, a crown for each one. So this is the druid character that also unlocked, and we're not going to really play as him, but I'll show off his ability. He starts with the standard shapeshift ability, and then if we play choose 1 cards, we get the Lifestorm ability, which would restore a minion to full health, which might be useful. And if we gain 25 attack, then we get the Touch of Bark, which gives a minion +1/+1. So these are both kind of buffing abilities to minions, where the default shapeshift is a buffing ability to the hero itself. You start with Ferocity, and it's the same issue where you can't play this deck. You can look at it, but you can't play it until you defeat 5 bosses, and you can't play this deck until you've defeated 10 bosses. And then this is just a random deck where it starts with a deck of random cards, which could be insanely crazy. And these do seem like they are just a standard selection of druid cards. Nothing particularly too special about them, but they're probably a decent foundation to build your deck up and beat the bosses. So let's open those packs and see what we've got, and then next Thursday will be the final week, and I'll be glad to see the end of it. Yeah, it does definitely feel like the Delarian Heist is trying to replace the Boomsday, not the Boomsday Project particularly, but the Rostacon's Rumble single expansion, which wasn't very interesting, and the Monster Hunt from Witchwood, and the Dungeon Run from Catacombs and Kobolds in Catacombs. Whereas One Night in Karazhan, League of Explorers, Black Rock Mountain, and Nexramus are so old, and their expansions are in Wild now, that I really feel that they should just give this to all players, particularly just Nexramus, Black Rock Mountain. That would be fine if every year they gave that content and just had a bigger starting point for players. So we have a decent collection on my main account here, and that's what we're playing on, the Americas account, of Rise of the Shadow cards. We also have a decent amount of gold, so I probably will open about 25 more Rise of the Shadow packs after this expansion happens, and I'll probably open about 25 on each of the accounts, so it will probably be a 75 card pack opening. Getting golden cards, I guess, helps because it gives me dust, but I wouldn't be surprised if all 15 of these cards get dusted, unless we get a legendary. And that's really all you're doing with these card packs, is you're trying to get a legendary card, and you're burning through the 50 pack pity counter. I think they really should adjust the loot drop rates at this point. Increase the odds quite a lot that you could get legendaries. The other way they could fix that is just get rid of all the common cards and have a base set of common cards for every expansion that are given to everyone, and then make legendaries as easy to get as epics are, and then epics as easy to get as rares are, and commons should just unlock by default. So 14 of those 15 cards were redundant and just getting turned to dust. And that's a decent amount of dust, but not a lot. So the one new card that is actually new and not just bugged out and saying it's new is maybe a second copy of this, whereas this is probably not new, or it's this one, this gold. And I don't keep gold because it's not really advantageous. So yeah, that's not to say I don't have a lot missing. There is still quite a lot missing in Rise of the Shadows. It's just they are all epic and legendaries cards. So if I was to use dust to try to get these cards, it would be rather expensive. It would be either spend 400 dust or spend 1600 dust. If they corrected the price in dust and made it cheaper, that might be helpful. Those little changes, those probably wouldn't bring in new players. So as for classic cards, I'm not missing any, and I don't think I'd ever really spend an effort to get all the Witchwood cards or Boomsday cards, because the fear is that they're just going to wild. And there's far more wild sets now than there are standard sets. So yeah, the Knights of the Frozen Throne, the single player of that should probably be given away for free too, because the expansion Frozen Throne is in wild, and the same is true for One Night in Karazhan and Gadgetzan and so many other things. There's more content now in wild than there is in standard. So the only way I think a new player would be able to get these single player elements would be to, I think you have to go to the website on Hearthstone and buy it outside of the app, because it definitely is not in the shop. In fact, you may notice there's not even an adventure button anymore in the shop. I think you can also buy card packs from the old expansions, but that would be expensive, certainly, to do it that way. So they should just expand this welcome bundle. Have a secondary welcome bundle type experience that gives you all of the old solo adventures. I don't think any of the old players are particularly going to care, because old players are going to be playing ranked, or they're going to be playing arena, and they're fine to have the game be supported and get new player base to join it, because they don't want the game to die. Unfortunately, a lot of people feel like the game is dying at this point. It's at least 5 years old at this point, and it suffered from a lot of people being in the beta. I wasn't in the beta, and even I feel like I'm rather far behind, with no real good opportunity to catch up unless you spend money. And then the game feels a little pay to win, as most games like this do. But I'm mostly getting in on a rant. So that's going to be it for this solo expansion. I hope you enjoyed it. We did succeed. As always, at the end of my videos, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because that helps me with YouTube, tells them that my videos are worth watching. When you subscribe, please click the notification bells. If you friend or follow me on some of the social media links that are down below in the description, you can get a backup notification for when videos come out. And if you would be so kind to support me even further, it would be greatly appreciated. There's a link down to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list, or gift me a gift card. The Steam Summer Sale is coming up pretty soon. That would be a great time to do that. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.